All right, guys, so we're at 49 Larkin in Barrhaven. I just want to talk to you about what it would take to legalize this house pretty easily into a legal duplex. Right now, it is not a legal duplex. It's a single family dwelling, and we're advertising it as so, but I'm going to show you what I would do to legalize it. First off, this would be your entryway, so this would be the actual common area. Both groups for each unit would come in here. This would be your access to Unit A, and that would be your access to Unit B. What you would have to do is you would wall this portion off. You'd have a door going in there, and you'd have a door going downstairs as well. That this would actually have to be fireproof, so another layer of drywall would have to be added. Of course, you'd have to get your permits from the city in order to do this. They will advise you on all the steps as well, but I'm just giving you a good idea using a good example of a property. Let's go downstairs. This is where most of the work is going to be done. So we're entering Unit B right now. A lot of the work is going to happen with the ceiling. So the ceiling as is cannot be the way it is because it's only 1/2-inch drywall. It will have to be either doubled up to 2 1/2-inch drywalls or a 5/8 drywall. But either way, you have to remove it. You have to add in what's called safe and sound rock salt insulation. It's like nice green insulation that you put in 6 inches into the floor joist cavities. And then you can also add what's called a resilient channel, which is an aluminum 1/2-inch sheeting that would go across, and that's what you strap your drywall in. The resilient channel is for the vibrations, flooring upstairs so that the sound quality is really good and you're not really hearing people jumping around upstairs. But you're going to lose about another, at least 1/2 inch or even more than that, probably about 1 inch in your ceiling height, but that's completely fine. The code for the lowest point in a basement unit for the ceiling height, the lowest point has to be a minimum of 6'4" 3/4", which we definitely have covered as well. Here's your main window in your living and kitchen space. Okay, they're going to want 5% of the floor space to be in the glazing. So the glazing here, if you just want to look at the actual the window itself, the glazing is this portion right here. Glazing is how much window space there is so that light can get in more for mental health reasons, not for the escapability. The escapability or fire-proof escapability is called point of egress. This window is technically not going to qualify as egress because it's double sliding, but the window itself would work if it was single sliding. But because you can open it from both sides, it doesn't qualify, but you're really close. Unfortunately, you would have to swap this window out. You would have to put a window well on the other side, but for your actual size of window, you're good to go. You don't have to do any further cuts through there. Let's go to your kitchen here, or what would be the kitchen. You've got your electrical panels here. I believe there's enough room in the panel because it is 200 amp there for both units. You're going to want to separate some wiring from unit to unit, just simply because you don't want those circuits intertwined. So some electrical work would have to be done, of course. You're also going to want to build a box around this so people can't get in there and hurt themselves or also are messing with the switches and stuff like that. This would be your kitchen. You're going to have to vent somewhere where you'd put a stove. Most likely the stove would go here or potentially even there, vent it up and vent it out. Okay, there's another point of exit right there into the garage as well. Everything has to be continuously fireproofed. So essentially, in this furnace room here, you've got options where you can either delete this room completely. What I mean by that is remove the furnace, and then your heat sources for the 2 units would be separate heat pumps, which is electrical heat. You put a heat pump upstairs for that unit. You put a heat pump downstairs for this unit with backup baseboard heaters, okay? If you're not going to do that and you're going to keep the furnace, which is right here, you're going to have to fully insulate, fireproof this room, and it would act as if it's part of upstairs. So the ceiling doesn't have to be fireproofed, but all of the walls do because it's a separate room. It actually might be incorrect. They might have changed the code. You might have to fireproof the ceiling as well, but regardless, you definitely have to do all of the walls, definitely separating it from the basement unit if you're going to keep that furnace. So I know what you're thinking. It's way easier to just remove the furnace. You could even turn this into another bedroom if you wanted, and then you do heat pump electrical heat sources. It's way easier, especially if you can do 2 meters, which would involve separating the power from the panel to 2 meters, which is going to cost you a bit more, but in the long run, if you keep it as a rental, it'd be a lot easier. And I'm just going to get past you here, show you in these rooms here. There's your bathroom. Everything's looking good in the bathroom other than, of course, the ceiling having to be fireproof. Bedrooms, tons of light. These windows are fantastic because you can escape. Again, they are double hung, so you're going to want to put a single hung on at least one of these, and in this room as well. Same exact thing. So you've got your points of escape, and what's great is you've got definitely enough glazing, meaning enough light, and everything else pretty much checks off the boxes for code. And that's what I would do to turn this into a legal duplex.